You know, the car wrapping stuff, it's a very niche business. And also go and learn about NFT.
Hansel, I have a different view. It's a €1 billion business.
You come to look for money. You need to come prepared.
If anyone brings 120 million, you should be working for that person.
Hey, this episode was actually very loaded. In fact, at a point I was thinking this for entrepreneurs, where did they come from? Like, their businesses were all big businesses. I would not even lie. Both the business products, both the business ideas, they were all mind-blowing. Guys, we saw this massive 4 entrepreneurs come into the den and shine with their ideas and their products. Hi guys, welcome back to my channel. My name is Jolita. You're welcome to another review episode of the Lion's Den. We're talking about Lion's Den episode 9. I'm going to be doing this video in 2 different parts, part 1 and part 2. Don't forget to watch the second part of this video because I'm going to be doing 2 entrepreneurs per video. So I'm going to be talking about the 2 entrepreneurs who came into the den in this part 1, and in the part 2 I'm going to talk about the last 2 entrepreneurs. Guys, I'm doing this just to make sure that I don't leave any stone unturned. But before I continue, I'd like to apologize for bringing in this video a bit late. It's been a while. I shared a review on the Lion's Den. There's just been some technical problems on the show airing, and because of that, there was just quite like a delay. It wasn't aired the day it was supposed to be aired, and so I didn't get to hear the update until like it was quite late. So I apologize because I know a lot of people have been looking out for latest update on it. So here I am going to be sharing it all. But before I continue, if you're very new to my channel, take this minute to subscribe to the channel to be a part of this conversation. If you like reality shows, I talk about reality shows, I talk about real-time stories, I do random tutorials, I just share my wealth of knowledge on very important things, sensitive matters. Of course, things like entrepreneurship are some big deals for me, and basically that's why I talk about this. If you like these things that I've just shared, don't forget to subscribe, don't forget to turn on post notification, don't forget to like this video so we could get more, rich audience out there. So guys, let's get into the deals that went down. The first 2 entrepreneurs we got in were they looked like real entrepreneurs, but the very peculiar thing about them was the 2 first set of entrepreneurs who came in, it was more like a business idea more than a business. So let's get right into it. The first entrepreneur who came into the den is a guy called Hansel. I think he said he was from Jos, and he's an artist. He was presenting vinyl wrapping business. So as an artist who paints and does that, he was like, okay, you know what, that he found out that people could actually wrap their cars instead of paint their cars, and he talked about the beauty of it and the rest of it. It was quite interesting. But while he was doing his presentation, there was something he said about that it was an idea and that he had not started the business. And so the very first question Mrs. Adenike asked after he was done was, have you started the business? And then this guy said no. And we all know how these lions can be. They do not want to invest in an idea. Like, they want to invest in the real deal. They want to know your numbers. They want to know if you've been profitable. They want to know if you're investable. They want to know if you're scalable before they put in their money. So when Mrs. Adenike asked that, I was like, okay, after the beautiful pitch now, I know this one is going to cause problem. So after that, other questions came in. So you've not started, so you've not done anything. Like, I was like, this one is just going to throw this guy under the bus, and after she, while she was doing that, Kiara chipped in some very funny comments as that when he was asked what the money was meant for, he said the money was meant for like a capital to get started in the business because it was like an expensive business that he needed to buy stuff. And then Kiara chipped in, and also the artist also is involved. So basically, while that conversation was done and over with, the first person who took over the conversation was Bolaji, and Bolaji asked a very interesting, sensitive and intelligent, not just question but suggestion also. He was like, do you know anything about digital art? And this young man was like, no, I do not know. And if you are watching this right now, this is the reason why you should open your mind to learning. This is one of the reasons why I love the Lions Den, because it's not about entertaining us, it's about empowering us and getting educated about our business. Guys, if you've not heard about digital art, it is a new thing. It's a new trend, and it's like a digital currency for artists. People who create art are able to create their NFTs, a non-fungible token.
It's actually my research.
If you don't know about digital arts, please come a little closer. You could just go to the African Creators latest series and learn more about it. In fact, the description, the link is in the description box. You check them out. They just had a very interesting episode explaining what NFT is all about. Guys, digital art, it's the new thing, and it's a way of creating your own work and selling it, turning it into cryptocurrency, sort of. That's just what I'm going to call it. It's just called, it's like the digital, it's the art, it's an artist's currency. It's a way of getting your work into the digital space in a very artistic way, and then get into the crypto space, getting paid, getting your art valued and selling it internationally. So people make, people create, people sell, and people buy this NFTs. Guys, it's big business and you probably want to know about that. The link is in the description box. Let's get into the conversation. So basically, when he was asked, he didn't know that part. And Bolaji, guys, this guy is one of the most intelligent guys in that den. He knows so much about investment. I mean, anything he says, I listen. And then he talked about it. He gave him the advice of, you know what, you need to look into this to see how you could explode your business, scale your business. And then Bolaji he always gives me very interesting reasons why he does not invest in any business. So he said that the business was too niche, and that in a country where we had just 200 million people, that how many people are willing to, you know, like do some artwork in their car. And then he was like, because of that reason and that alone, I'm not going to be investing. You know, and while he was saying that, Dan also chipped in. You know, you guys know Dan has this international standard protocol, world best procedure, process kind of mindset and orientation. So he was like, he knew a lot about it too, and he chipped in. He shared on what NFT was about, and that Hansel should look into getting himself into that line so that he could make more money from his art, because he really had great work. So basically, after that advice, the two of the lions were the first people to leave to walk out of Hansel's pitch. And then the next person that had, you know, Adenike was like, you know, even though Adenike was chipping her thoughts on his art. I mean, at the point they even started bidding for his work. They said they liked his work. They were willing to buy his work, but they were not really willing to invest. And so with two lions out, Paul surprised me. I will not lie. He chipped in. He was like, okay, you know what? Because basically when Adenike asked, have you started this business? And Hansel said he had not started. We all know that most of these entrepreneurs, most of these investors rather, do not like investing in startups. They want to know that you have numbers. So when Paul said, I believe in your business, I know this is a big business in Europe, and that he has had his car, you know, wrapped in this artwork before. You know, and I was like, okay, this binary thing is like actually a big thing. I mean, Paul said he had done it like 3 times, same car, using the same car, but he was just changing the artwork, making it look different. And so maybe because of he had love for it, he had interest in it, prior interest. That was the reason why he said, okay, you know what? But while they were having a conversation, Hansel had actually chipped that the binary car thing was under. The binary car stuff was underneath the Hansel art. That the Hansel art was more of the business, and then you know, Paul went ahead to ask a question of, hope everything you do it under your business. Is it a business name or a limited? And then this guy said it was a limited company. I was like, okay, this guy is ready for business. And guys, I will not even lie. I'd like to chip in. If you guys remember, guys, the Brello guys, the aesthetic tile guys that were doing those tiles that Paul was interested in investing in, imagine if they had also pitched maybe their recycling business alongside that Brello thing they were doing. They would have definitely gotten a deal. But anyways, so Hansel actually said that he was looking at, you know, the vinyl car wrapping thing as a second option, and he was willing to allow Hansel Art to be in front and then that behind. So the conclusion was Paul told him to put the vinyl car wrapping business at the back boots, because that Nigeria economy, he didn't know the market was not there. This was something that had not been tested, and it would take a long time for it to be built into a business. Basically, these lions shared very insightful information and actually gave valid reasons on why they didn't see the business as investable, and I totally agreed with them. So at the end of the day, the deal was...
Make it a hard offer. I'll give you all the money, 14 million, for 50% of the company. You are going to be contracted to work exclusively for this company for 7 years. I will reduce my stake, yes, by 10%. That's when you give me 1.5 times the money back.
You guys already explained the deal on what this guy got. Hansel got the opportunity to get Paul into his business for a 50% equity share, and for him to pay 1.5 at 1.5 of the money he got. So that's about 35 million within 7 years. And within 4 years, 3 to 7 years, he's given the opportunity to pay back gradually and to reduce the equity share from 40% to 10%, or to also buy the 80% of Paul's share from his company. He didn't think this through. He was so very fast. I mean, Paul gave this pitch. I didn't see this guy negotiating. I was wondering why he didn't. I guess he was just an artist. He wasn't a business person. And guys, literally, I would say something. If you're coming into the Lions, then you really need to get your onions right. You need to not just know that you're pitching a business. You need to understand that you need to check in on all these things and be very careful on what you're agreeing to. But anyways, that was a successful pitch for Hansel. The next set of entrepreneurs we saw were 2 gigantic tech enthusiasts and, of course, business owners. So these guys came in, they were pitching for their Pan-African tech hub kind of business. They pitched 2 apps, Hotel, Suit, and Mishap. And these guys are from Abba. Hey, when I heard Abba, I was like, hey, gang, 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 Abba boys in the block. Well, guys, 120 million was what they were asking for. And they said they were going to be giving 15% equity share to whatever investor comes into their business. Basically, the pitch was a very interesting pitch. The hotel suite was for hotel management and the rest of it. The, what's that thing called again? The Mishap app is a local emergency kind of app that will help local policing within 500 meters of the community. So it was really a very interesting pitch. And after the pitch comes the question and answer. And that is where most of these entrepreneurs will fall under the bus. Anyways, questions started coming in. I mean, Paul asked he was the first person to come in, and what Paul asked was, are you guys partners? And Paul was like, you guys pitched 2 apps. And in my head, I was thinking, does one app belong to one person and the other app belong to another person? So it was more like, these Igbo guys came with their swag and their tech, ideas. So the question was, and they were co-founders. And after that explanation, other questions started coming in, and one of the most interesting questions, guys, these guys were pitching for 120 million, right, for 15% equity share. And then, of course, for people who had presented 2 apps, I will not even lie, I was expecting them to say that this thing was already available. So the questions started coming in. They asked them for their numbers, and they had evaluated their company at 800 million worth. And, they started asking them which products they had created. Paul asked that question, and they said, the first question was, have they launched the app? And they said one of the apps was supposed to be launched in August. Some were still back end. And then they asked them, the next question they asked them was, how much revenue have you made? I was feeling these guys were probably going to say, this is an idea, we're still working on it. But they went ahead and started giving numbers. And what they were giving numbers, me too, in my head, I was like, okay, maybe there's another side of the business. And then eventually, Kiari had to come in. He was like, you guys, you said your app is not yet launched. This is what you're pitching. How do you make these revenues if you don't have a product? And then they went ahead to explain that they build websites, they do stuffs, and basically that's where the money is coming from. And for me, it didn't really correlate, because I was like, if they had presented their company and said, okay, anyways, it was just their loss anyway. At the end of the day, what they were selling wasn't making sense to anybody, even to me. And eventually, another question chipped in. So Bolaji is one person I look out for when he comes to read his questions. So the question was, can you share your link to your app, something that we can just check it out now and know if it's true? And then the gist started. We're like, okay, no. The first question came from, after Kiari had, chipped in. The next question was, why did you guys why was your margin very low in 2020? And they said it was because of the COVID. I mean, everybody gave excuses that COVID was something that didn't make them grow. But you guys know that a lot of businesses thrived better and bigger in COVID. So, but I was like, in a tech business, because tech business does not expect people to be moving around. It's something that should make money irrespective of whether the environment is having a lockdown or not. Like, tech is supposed to be at all times. So basically, they had to explain that they were making money, and then Kiara chipped in on asking them questions on how they had made money, and they chipped in that they had made money from website design, building softwares. And at that point, it didn't make sense, because I was expecting them to talk about their hotel, how many hotels they had, gotten, how many mishaps they had. Maybe they had done some demonstration or something anyway. At the end of the day, when they were asked a link, nothing was available, and I was like, now wow. Why do you guys do yourself like this? So the packaging, everything, I mean, at the end, it really looked like these guys came into the den without an authentic product, because if you're pitching for you introduced two apps and none of them were working, because I mean Bolaji asked for the URL or link or something, like he asked for something so that they would be able to say, okay, this thing is available, is working. And these guys are like, that the reason why they were down in 2020 was because they have to go meet these clients, probably do some local demonstration, tell these people how to use this app. And I'm like, is this one an app that cannot go live? I really didn't understand. Bolaji went ahead to ask them questions. What is the 120 million for? Because basically, if you're asking for money, you should be able to break down what this money is in a very sensible manner. And they're like, they're going to buy their gateway for 50 million, and that was understandable. I don't know if it's that expensive, but I don't know, 50 million. I mean, we've seen guys have come into that den. I mean, we know the Fix 25 guy, the We Care Africa. This guy didn't ask for 50 million because he's also going to buy gateway. I don't know, but these guys are just asking for, I felt they were asking for too much money. But they asked the question, what are you using the money for? They said 50 million for this, marketing, what did they even call it again? Packaging and marketing. Marketing and something, 20 million. I'm like, marketing what? 20 million how? Bao. Yeah. Please let me just play so you guys will hear for yourselves.
What will the money be used for?
For mishap, we would require to secure a gateway.
How much is that?
To 50 million naira.
Okay. What's the rest of the money going to be spent? How much is the team?
Patents.
How much is the team?
30 million naira.
Million.
Yes.
What else?
Marketing, sales, branding,
Marketing what?
marketing of the
Market
product.
of this
And how much is that?
20
That's
million.
20 million.
Okay.
What? Guys, I don't know, but I don't know. I think we just have to start receiving sense. I'm sorry to say that, but come on, if you're going to ask people for money, it should be sensible now. It should be something really sensible, and you should have something tangible to give. At the end of the day, they had broken down their business. They said they had made 4 million naira within 3 years. They didn't have any products. Like everything was really, really sketchy. I will not even lie. In fact, Mrs. Adenike was not even, she didn't waste time in really blasting them and say, you guys looked all good and shining, but man, you came with packaging and zero content. And I was really disappointed when I heard, I wish this guy had, they had even presentation. They did not even present what they were saying. So Bolaji said that everything they said sounded really cocky, and that he wasn't taking anything they said. And he was like, if this was really available, because everybody loved the mishap, I'm sure they would have gotten a deal. Mr. Dan chipped in. Mr. Dan was like, okay, mishap actually exists. He talked about that the hotel management suite wasn't like a big deal, that it was already existing. And then he talked about mishap actually existing in Apple, and then he was just upset that they had not done their research. They didn't even know that something like that was available. He asked them if they had done a copy and paste, and they said something about their own being different. Mr. Dan wasn't getting it right with them. Like, it really didn't go down well. At the end of the day, all of the Lions said no to this tech experts, tech enthusiasts, who were asking for 120 million. I mean, when I even heard about the amount they had invested, I'm like, you guys invested this much and you've not been able to build the app. As in how? Bao, you guys are software engineers. With that kind of amount invested in a business, you guys should have a business already. You should have an app running already. Like, I was totally disappointed with these two tech giants who were not able to prove that they had a business in the first place, because everything sounded really wishy-washy. I would not even lie. I mean, I think we should receive sense when we're coming into this den, because these guys, they really reminded me of this this what's that guy, manufacturing guy who came with the POS gist. I call this the worst scam pitch. So this was it sounds like something like that. It was not an exciting experience, and I felt like, look at the deal. I mean, if this guys were really working hard, they would have gotten a good deal. Bolaji, I'm definitely sure he would have been willing to invest in a technological idea like that, if they just had proof that this thing was actually legit. And I think this is like, it should give us sense. I think you guys, like whoever is pitching, I mean, this entrepreneur should receive sense already. How can you come and ask for that kind of money when you haven't even put in, like, I mean, anybody that gives that kind of money, seriously, you should be working for them. Kiara didn't say anything wrong. I mean, everything he said, I agreed with him 100%. Guys, so in the first set of entrepreneurs who came into the den, only Hansel Art was able to get a deal of 14 million naira and 50% equity share. He was the only lucky deal that happened. I'm going to be talking about the other version of the two entrepreneurs who came into the den, and those who got and those who didn't get. So you probably want to check out my next video. Guys, go ahead and watch the next video because I'll be here. Don't forget to subscribe, like the video, and also check my older contents if you're not following up on the Lion's Den. I have done reviews on it from episode 1, and we just talked about episode 9. See you guys in the next video. I'll be back here.